just waiting for this to kick in and go live here. Okay, we're live now on Facebook. Now we're going to go live on Insta. Just got to pull this up here. And go live on Insta. Just wait till it's almost there. Perfect. We are live. We're live on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. We should be live on X, potentially LinkedIn as well too. So a whole bunch of platforms. Anyways, Calle, great to see you, my friend.
Great to see you as well.
You got what the time right now in Sweden is? What, 7:30?
Yeah, 7:30 p.m.
Wonderful to have any Swedish viewers on here. We can try to talk a little Swedish. Well, you can. I'll have a hard time.
No, you're pretty good as well. That'd be good if we have any Swedish viewers.
Yes. Okay. We can. So for the guys that are watching, the Swedish word for goalie is målvakt, right?
Yeah, correct.
And the goalie is målvakten.
Yes.
Probably bad, whatever you call it,
No,
accent.
I think you're good. I think you're really good.
Okay. What is the word for brick wall in Swedish?
I would say probably there's no real translation to that. But I would say probably väggen. That's the wall. I would say
okay.
that would be the closest one.
Outstanding. Awesome. And as we're going, so Pete Fry, the goalie mindset guy, this is a goalie mindset podcast where we are live with the great Calle Clang. Calle is with the Anaheim Ducks organization. You'll see him playing for them real soon. And Calle is currently last year with the San Diego Gulls, and he is from Sweden. He played in Rögle in the Swedish Hockey League. Did I pronounce it right? Rögle?
Yeah, Rögle.
So Rögle, which is an awesome place. I've been there. I've been in that arena. Actually, I played in that arena a long time ago for a team called Helsingborg when Rögle was in Division 1 before they moved up to the Swedish Hockey League. Anyways, yeah. So great to have you on, Calle, and we've been working together for about how long now?
It would be since mid-February, I think. So
mid-February, yeah.
Months.
Yep. Got it. Yeah, you've been awesome to work with, and you got a very, very bright future. Hear nothing but great things about you from everyone in the Anaheim Ducks organization. And I'm excited to have you on here, Calle. So let's start off with, I got a question for you. When did you start playing goal, and why did you start playing goal?
I started off pretty early. I mean, as everybody, I was a player at the beginning. But then when I think I was 8 or 9 years old when I first tried to be a goalie. My dad, he didn't really like it. He thought it was a little expensive, and he didn't like watching the games when I was a goalie because he got so nervous. But then once I turned 10 years old, I decided to be a full-time goalie. So ever since I was 10 years old, I've been in the goal.
Okay, fantastic. And when you adjusted to being goaltender, what was the thing you liked most about it?
I think the thing I liked most was, obviously, I thought the gear was really cool. I thought the masks were awesome, the big pads, and I thought that was probably the first thing I noticed it. But then as I started to get a little bit older and I really started to fall in love with being a goalie, I think it was just being you would be the decider. You could be the hero of the game, winning the game for your team, or the other way. So I think that was the main thing that I really enjoyed, being able to kind of decide the game by your own, and being the hero. I always like to be in the spotlight, and I think that worked well with being the goalie. So it was both the gear, but also being the deciding factor in the games.
Got it. And what kind of gear was it back? Like, what kind of gear was it? Was Jofa still around or not? Because I know Jofa was really big in Sweden at one time.
Yeah, it was really big, but I think maybe when I started playing when I was like 4 or 5 years old when I was a player, but then it was Bauer. It was actually Nike Bauer. So I had.
Oh, it was okay.
Yeah, I had Nike Bauer pads and gloves, and I got my first pair of pads on Christmas when I was 11, and that was the first like only Bauer, not Nike Bauer. So that was pretty cool. I remember my dad, he hid it for me, so I couldn't. I thought I wasn't gonna get the pads and the gloves, but then once it was kind of over, then it was over. He brought him in for me and gave it to me. So that was probably like the best day of my life. So it was awesome.
That's awesome. We get a question from a viewer. When we get questions, I'll just ask you right there on the spot,
Yeah,
right? For that. So the question is, did you work with Simon Nielsen in Rugla?
I did. Yeah, for many years. Actually, he was my first goalie coach when I got to Rugla in the under 16, under 18, under 20 teams. We worked for a good 4 or 5 years, and I still have a great relationship with him. I see him in the summer, and he's an awesome goalie coach and an even better guy. So yeah, I really miss working with him.
What was it about Simon that stood out to you the most that you really liked about as a goalie coach?
He really loves hockey and especially goalie. Like he would study games like in the minor details, and he's really good with details. Like we could talk about if yeah, I made a great save in a game. We could probably talk about just one save in particular for hours. Like he would go so in detail, which I loved, and I'm the same way. So we really yeah, worked off each other really good.
Nice, nice. Okay, so let's go back to when you're playing minor hockey. When did you start to take it seriously? Like a lot of times people start playing goal for fun, right? Like they enjoy it, they love stopping pucks. But when did you first think, you know, I'd love to make a career out of this?
That was early. I remember my mom told me when I was like 5 years old. I told her I'm gonna play in the NHL. So I think it was really early on, and I can't even remember when I was like 6 7 years old, and the only thing I would talk about was playing in the NHL, and so it was early on.
And what attracted you to the NHL? Were like there's some Swedish players or some other players that were like really big at the time? Was Peter
Yeah,
Forsberg big?
Uh, I think he was in the beginning, like when I was really young. But it was mostly like the Swedish guys in Detroit, like Nick Lidstrom, Henrik Sedberg, Johan Franzen, all these guys. And then when I started playing in goal, I fell in love with Henrik Lundqvist, and he became my idol from when I was really young. So I think the one thing that really attracted me about playing in the NHL was that all the best players in the world were playing in the same league. Like it was the best of the best, and that's still the thing that drives me the most is playing against the best players in the world and compete against Sidney Crosby and Nathan McKinnon and all those guys, and being able to win against those kind of guys is still my one of my biggest driving forces.
Got it. Okay, so obviously Henrik Lundqvist is the goalie that inspired you the most. That was another question we had, so I just thought I would get that.
Yeah.
And that's coming from Store. I'm trying to pronounce your Instagram here. Store Hamar Mark Us Dragons 29. I know your jersey number 29. That's what I got. Anyway, it's awesome. Great questions. Great questions. So Henrik Lundqvist, he inspired you the most. And what do you think was the key to Henrik Lundqvist's success?
I think it's his competitiveness. I think he competed like every day. Every puck I heard in practice, he was phenomenal. He would do like 6 7 rebounds, and he would compete for every puck. And I think that's what stood out to him. Obviously, he had a great technique. He was playing. He had good feet, good hands, good tracking. But I think the one thing that really stood out to him was his competitiveness and being able to rise to the occasion, playing those big games, the finals and stuff, and he would always perform at the top of his level. And I think that comes from his competitiveness and also his strength of playing in like the big games.
Got it. Got it. Okay. 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 So let's go back. Let's go back to when you're playing minor hockey. What was the biggest adversity in minor hockey before you played any junior, any higher level? What was the biggest adversity that you faced?
I think the biggest adversity was probably that we were losing a lot. We were a small team, like we're talking like 8 to 10 players, and in my age group, and we would have to go up against some really good teams, and we would have to battle. And there were some games where we were losing pretty big, and obviously it took a toll on me, letting in goals and losing games. So that was probably the biggest adversity. But I think there were so many good things about playing in a team that wasn't winning a lot, because I there was games where I could have like 40 to 50 to 60 shots, and being able to practice a lot. So I think there were some really good moments back then too.
Yeah, for sure. Out of adversity comes greatness a lot of times, right? Just by sticking with it and really accepting the challenge and understanding that, we could it's almost like when you're working out, you put extra weight on the bar or on the dumbbells or barbell or whatever it is you're working out on the machine, and it's really challenging at the time, but when you complete it, you're stronger for it, right? Exactly when you're as a goaltender when playing on a team that maybe isn't so great, right? Just by staying dialed in, going through it. Maybe you're not having as much of success as you normally have during this time. Well, you are, but people just probably can't see it in the results sometimes. And just understanding that, you are getting better and staying the path and all that. That's fantastic. What is your strategy for bouncing back when not making a save? And has it changed at all since we started working together?
I think it has, yeah. It actually changed a lot, because I remember before you and me started working together, there were times when I didn't come up with a save, and I was looking at the big screen and watching the replay of the goal and trying to kind of beating myself up about it. And you and me talked about one of the first times we spoke, and you said like never watch the time or the replays or anything like that scoreboard. And I think that really changed my mentality that the past is the past. Like there's nothing you can change about it, even though you could replay I tried to replay the goal in my head to try to just like, okay, what would I do different in the next scenario, so I'm ready to that I learned something from it. And but yeah, I try to lose focus of it as quick as I can, because I know there's nothing I can do about it, and there's going to be opportunities to grow after the game, where you can watch the video, and you can watch the replays 10 times, and you can actually like go back in detail and see what you can do different. But as soon as it's happened, I'm just trying to forget about it as quick as I can. I take my skate to the corner, take a sip of water, and refocus, do my pre-face-off routine, and then I'm back to normal.
Got it. Yeah. Okay. Good stuff there. Good stuff. Yeah, for sure. And if we could give the goaltenders watching a strategy of how to bounce back when they don't make a save, what would you tell them about body language?
I think it has a great impact, more impact than you think, when you have like a good body language. When you have your shoulders back and you're facing up and you smile and you kind of look confident, even though you might not feel as confident after you just didn't come up with the save. But if you act confident, you will feel confident. So I think that has a lot to do with it, and that's what I'm trying to be working on since you and me started working together. Being able to, act confident, because then you will start feel confident as well. And as I said, the biggest thing for me is just like I can't do anything about it, so just forget it and move on. Just I have phrase in my head. It's a Swedish phrase where I try to like just let go of the last play and focus
What's that
forward.
phrase? What is it?
It's called slep. So it's more like what's it?
Slep?
Let it. Yeah, slep. It's like let go.
Let it go.
Let go of it. Yeah, let it go.
Slep. How do you spell that?
SL, and then it's a Swedish word. The A with two dots and PP.
Yep. And PP.
Yeah.
Slep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Okay, okay. There you go. So everyone listening, if you ever don't make a save, say the word slep and just letting it go.
Yeah,
right?
you'll feel great.
Yeah. Okay. Good stuff. Good stuff. We got another question here. Have you made any changes to your game playing in North America compared to playing in Europe?
Yeah.
You're popular. Got lots of questions here for you, Calle.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, I've done a lot of changes. I think it started as soon as I got over to Anaheim and San Diego. Me and Jeff Glass started working together. It's just being able to play those overlaps instead of being inside the post. I think before I didn't even know what overlap was, and now it's like a huge part in my game. Being able to play off the post, and So that was one thing, and the second thing was probably playing big, like because in North America there's so many more screens, and because of the smaller ice surface, everybody's in front of the net, so you have to really look through screens, and playing big was a huge part in that. Being able to stay on top of the crease, you know, just trying to. It's more of like not saving the puck. It's more of like getting hit sometimes because there's going to be big bodies in front of the net, and then you just have to get hit sometimes. Put yourself in good spots so the puck hits you. When sometimes you just cannot see the puck, so then you have to be in a good position.
And do you also find you need to play your angles a little bit different over here? Because in Sweden, all the rinks are Olympic size, so they're all basically exactly the same. Whereas in North America, they can actually be a little bit different size.
Yeah. I noticed that, and I think that has a lot to do with the overlap or RVH situations. Sometimes where I would do an RVH in Sweden, here I can't really do it because the guy is so much closer to me, so he could put it, short side high instead of in Sweden he would be too far out, so I would have time to actually catch it or just get my shoulder in the way. But here I have to be outside of the post in an overlap, so it hits me more pucks hits me instead of me trying to actually catch it. It just hits me, and I can collect the rebounds.
Got it. Okay. We got another question here. By the way, guys, you're making this podcast really easy. I appreciate the questions. I can just read the questions to Calle here. Okay. So basically, I got another question for you. What has been the biggest change after starting to work with Pete? But that's me.
Yeah, that's you. Yeah. I mean, there's been a lot of changes to my daily life. I really started doing the visualizations, which I didn't do quite as much before. We've been doing the guided visualizations when you and me, since you and me started working. I think that's a big change, and then just overall being working on my confidence, just trying to do the confidence journal every day, and there's also another couple other habits with the incantations, the affirmations, to try to help my confidence build up again. And I think as soon as you and me started working, I think just a weekend, I got hurt and I was out for 8 weeks. So we spent a lot of time together during those 8 or 9 weeks, and it really changed me to the better. And I feel a big difference in the way I'm approaching situations now and dealing with adversity in a much better way than I did before, which I'm very grateful for. And I feel like there's been some really good progress over these last couple months since we started working together.
Well, you're really awesome to work with, Calle.
Thank you.
Really awesome. Okay, and I'm excited to fly to Anaheim next year.
Yeah.
To watch you play. Okay. So let's go. We got another question here from Crystal Land 33. Crystal Land 33. Is there some times where you don't feel in the zone, and how do you get back to it mid-game? We're getting great questions here today.
Yeah, that's a really good question, and actually a question I've been thinking a lot about the last couple months here, because I remember we spoke about it one of the first times we talked about being what is the zone and how do you get into it and what happens when you get out of it. And I really challenged myself to kind of find what's my zone, and when I'm performing at my best, what is going on in my mind. And there's times where I definitely lose it throughout the games when I feel like my focus and my concentration is not where it's supposed to be. And you could be anything. Like I could react to a referee's mistake, my own mistake, my teammate's mistake. Like it would be silly things that I would react to before that I'm trying to avoid now. I feel like I'm getting a lot better at. But I think it's important to have a plan for it. If you feel like you're not in your zone or you're not focusing well, to have a strategy or a plan to like, how do I get back to it? I think that's very individual. Some guys have a phrase they say to themselves, speaking out loud, or having a skate, you go skate around a crease or anything. It could be anything. Just important to have a strategy. I think my strategy is to focus on my breath and talking to myself. Have a positive self-talk. I think that's huge for me. Being able to talk myself back to my zone or concentration or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, yeah, awesome, awesome. Okay, going back to growing up in your career. So, at what age did you transition from? And I know it's different in Sweden than it is here. So, when you grew up playing, were you in the Rugla organization, like even when you were like 13, 14, 15, or how did that work?
No, no. So I was in my hometown. It's called Olofström. It's
Okay.
in southern part of Sweden on the east coast. So that's where I started playing when I was very young, 4 or 5
How
years
close
old.
is that to Rugla?
It's about a little less than 2 hours drive.
Okay.
So I started playing there until I was 15, and I made a move. I moved myself to Ängelholm, where Rögle play. So it's the ninth year in school in Sweden. So I finished my ninth year here in Rögle in the school, and I played for the under 18 team, even though I was under 16 player. So that's usually 1 year earlier than most of the guys
That's
move.
impressive.
Yeah, because then we have like the call. It's hockey gymnasium. It's like university kind of. It's between high school and university, and that's where most guys move to. The SHL teams like the Växjö, Linköping, all of those teams. But I moved 1 year earlier because I felt I needed the development and I needed the compete that was here because I felt like I was stuck in a under 15 team in my hometown, and it's tough to say, but it's like I felt I needed a bigger challenge, and Rögle was called me, and I was here a couple of times, and I decided to move here. So I moved from my parents' place to my own apartment when I was 15, and
It's
had
that
to
that that's
deal.
Lägenhut in Swedish, right?
Yeah,
Doing a
exactly.
part Lägenhut.
Yeah.
Carry on. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I just get excited when I know a little Swedish.
No, so I was 15 when I moved to Ängelholm to play for Rögle, and as I said, I moved to my own apartment, and I had to deal with, cooking, cleaning, school. Yeah, I didn't have anybody that was driving me to school or practice. I had to take my bike, go into practice, school, and do my homework and all of that stuff by myself when I was 15, being
So
a
you
couple
grew up
hours.
fast.
I did, yeah, I really did, and it was moments when it was really hard, but it was my dream. It was my dream to go and play in the SHL team and an SHL organization. So I was very happy. I remember my mom she was sad the day I left. She was
Oh,
crying, and she thought it was too early. But me and my dad just thought it was a great challenge.
yeah, yeah. That's awesome. That is awesome. And then tell me about your so the transition to the U18 team. It sounds like the biggest challenge was that you had to live on your own and do all that stuff, right? So from the U18 team, what was the next level up that you played after that?
The under 20 team in
Under
Rögle.
20 team. What was the biggest adjustment from the U18 to the under 20?
Um, I think I think the biggest difference or challenge for me going from under 18 to under 20. So I had 1 year in the under 18 team when I was under 16 players. So when I was my first year in under 18, I played for the under 20 team. So I was playing against guys that were 3 years older than me, 2 years older than me, and I think the biggest thing they were so much stronger and bigger and faster than I was. I was a child compared to these guys that were almost 20 years old, and some guys were 20 years old. So it was a big difference coming up as a 16-year-old and playing against basically men. And I remember they were skating much faster. The tempo was a lot higher. Their shooting was better, and the screens they were much better at getting in front of the net, tipping, and being able to screen me. So I think I had to really work on my skating, being able to beating passes on my feet, and also those things I was talking about before, going from Europe to North America, but playing big and being able to adapt to the pace of game. I think that was a big challenge for me.
Yeah, yeah. And what was the key to if you're someone's listening, and so I guess in North America that could be like just going from going to major junior to play,
Yeah.
right? Or like to OHL, CHL, or going to the NAL or going to the USHL as far as adjustment goes, as I say, a 16, 17-year-old, what's the biggest advice you would give to them?
I think have patience, not feeling frustrated because you might not feel great at the first. Maybe you're not playing at the level you want to play at the start, but then just have patience and being able to take a step back and look at what you can actually improve and yeah, the things you can control and you not can control. I know it sounds cliche, but it's huge. It really is. Some things you just cannot control. Maybe you're not starting as many games as you did before. That was my problem. I played with a really good goalie. He was 2 years older than me, and he would start, like, we had 3 games in a week. He would start two, and I got one game. Or we had 3 games. He would start 3 games, and that was so. It's just patience. It's just being able to focus on the things you can control, practice good, having good habits, and being ready to go whenever you get the chance.
Yeah, and it sounds like in really having that growth mindset, right? Because it's almost like when you're saying, it could be similar to when you were playing on a team that maybe wasn't so good, in the sense of you got all these extra challenges now coming at you. The players are faster, stronger, and you can do the same thing. You just may not get the results right away, but to realize that you are growing and getting better.
Yeah, and there's always two different sides of it. You can look at it and feel sorry for yourself, and you can feel like you deserve to start more games, or you deserve this or that, or you can look at it like, okay, what can I do to improve my situation? And almost every time it comes down to practice. Like, what can I do in practice? How can I improve my game in practice? If I'm not getting the starts I want, then practice is your best friend. So that was big for me. And then as long as the year went on, I played more and more, and I played better and better. And towards the end, I was the starter, and I played a ton of games in my first year. So it's about patience, and I've discovered that a lot of times in my young career so far, being able to stick with it and believe in yourself and trust in the process. It's very cliche, but it's true.
Yeah, yeah. And here's a power question that you guys listening can ask yourself if you're ever in a situation like that, which you will be at some point, is to, number one, get a clear picture of where you want to go, where you're taking your career, even that season or wherever. And then just ask yourself, say, what's great about this situation? What's great? And really ask it expecting the answer. What's great about this situation? Maybe at first your mind's going to come back with nothing, but just keep asking that. What's great about this situation? And, because there's going to be something great about it that's going to make you an even better goaltender. And that's some phenomenal stuff, Calle, phenomenal stuff. And what was the key to you taking over the number one spot? I'm sure people listening would love to know that. What was the key for you to take over that number one spot that year? Because you didn't start off in the number one spot, but you ended up with it. And what was the key?
I think the trust I earned from the coaches, that they could feel like they could put me in against anybody, whatever team we were playing. They would feel confident putting me in the net because they know I would have a standard. Like, I wouldn't be playing really bad or anything like that. I would play solid every game I would play, and there were games where I would go in and steal the game for my team. And I think just earning the trust from the coaches, I think that's huge. When they feel confident in you, then they will start giving you more games. Like, if your performances is going up and down, and one game you have a shutout, but the next game you're getting pulled after a couple of minutes, then they wouldn't feel confident putting you back out there for a back-to-back game or anything like that. So I think just earning the trust from the coaches, and the only thing
Mhm.
you do that is having good practices and competing hard and showing them that you're ready whenever you get the chance.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Good stuff. Good advice for everyone here. Really good advice. Got another question again from, I'm still trying to pronounce your Insta correctly. Store Hammer Mark Us Dragons 29. There we go. So here's a question. Do you prepare yourself mentally for practice, or is that only for games? What a good question.
I mean, everything I do is preparing myself. Everything I do from when I wake up until I go to bed is about preparing myself for whatever it is, practice, game, travel day, whatever it is. It's just setting myself up for success. That's the biggest thing. And so, if you mean by meditating, visualizing, anything like that, I do that every day. Doesn't matter if it's game day or practice day. And of course, it's different stuff when it's a game day or practice day, but I have a routine that I follow every day, and I know that's setting myself up for success.
Yeah, I'm glad that you answered that. And I knew that you did prepare for practice, just like games. And there's a chapter in my book, Goalie Mindset Secrets, called Prepare for Practice as you prepare for games. Right. And
Yeah,
to me, it goes back to, you think of like the guy with the most touchdowns in the NFL of all time, Jerry Rice. The reason he has the most touchdowns in the NFL in games is because in practices, he has the most touchdowns. Right. And it's the same thing as a goaltender in hockey. Right. Because what we do in practice carries over to a game, even preparation, right? And for the listeners, if you're showing up at practice, like just showing up without preparing, without visualizing and stuff like that, you're currently missing a huge opportunity. You can turn it around by starting to visualize before practice. You don't have to do as long as visualization. You don't have to do as long a preparation as you do for a game, but do some of this, do the same things, because if that way your preparation is going to get even better and your gameplay automatically will get better. Does that make sense, Calle?
yeah, absolutely. Now, I think if you look at it, like, let's say last year I played, I think 30 something games. And if I only prepared myself for those, like mentally prepared myself for those 32 games, then I would only have those kind of 32 games where I could practice with it. But I don't even know how many times I skated last year, but like it's probably like over 200 or something. And if I prepare myself for all those practices, I would be so much better at preparing myself. So I think it's huge. And as you said, you don't have to do it as long or the exact same thing you do, but have a routine that works for you and set yourself up for success, both for practice and obviously for games.
Yeah, big time, big time. Okay, another question. So from what was your biggest adjustment to going from you went from junior to playing in the Swedish Hockey League, right?
Yeah, I played 1 year in the Swedish second league,
Okay.
Hockeyallsvenskan.
For who?
Yeah,
For who?
yeah, Kristianstad, is their name.
Kukonsa. So okay. So 1 year in the Swedish second league, and then what was the adjustment from there to the Swedish Hockey League? What was the biggest thing you had to adjust?
That I think in from Allsvenskan to SHL, there would be like some phenomenal players in Allsvenskan, like really good
Yeah.
high end players. I mean, this year in Garden, there were guys like Marcus Kruger who has 2 Stanley Cups. Like those kind of guys would play in Allsvenskan because that was their hometown team or stuff like that. So there would be really, really good players in Allsvenskan. But in SHL, I felt like everybody was good. Like there wasn't any like
Mm.
bad players or whatever. If Allsvenskan, I could have a game where I would stop like 35 out of 35 shots, and I would feel like okay, that wasn't even very hard. But in SHL, I could have 15 shots, and I would feel like holy shit, didn't come up with the save like 3 times, and it would feel really hard. So I think that was the biggest thing. In SHL, everybody was just as good, and the high end players in SHL, they're obviously really, really good. So it was a big adjustment for me, not getting as many, let's say, easy shots, easy saves. Because in SHL, I felt that the players were a lot smarter. They felt that they were more experienced. They wouldn't just shoot the puck at me just because, like, they would have a thought about it, shooting for a rebound or trying to get a whistle or anything like that, or trying to score on every shot. So I think that was the biggest difference. And obviously, those high end players, they're really good coming down one on one and stuff like that, 2-on-1, the power plays where I had really had to challenge myself in those situations.
Yeah, I could imagine. I could imagine. And then who was your in let's talk Sweden. Talk Sweden. Who was your favorite head coach when you were in Sweden? It could be growing up, could have been when you were in the Swedish Hockey League at any level at all. Who is your favorite head coach and why?
I think I had one in Kristianstad in the Hockeyallsvenskan. My first year, he would basically play me every game I was available. He
That's a good
I
reason to
remember
like a
we
coach.
no, he was he told me I think it was right after World Juniors, so let's say early January or something. And we were not a very good team. We would fight for relegation, so we were the last two teams in the Allsvenskan. They play like best out of 5 games, I think it is. Yeah, best out of 5 games, and the loser got relegated to the Division 1, and that basically is like it's pro hockey, but it's not really semi-pro, I guess you would call it. So,
Yep.
and we would be dead last, like dead last. And in January, he told me like our season, like it's about you. Like if you have to play so good for us to stay in the Allsvenskan. And he told me that, and I like 18-year-old kid, my first year pro, and he told me basically everything is about you. Like you have to play so good. So he really gave me the. He had really big faith in me. So after that, I think I played like almost every game. He asked me like, "Hey, when do you want to rest before the relegation games?" And I was like, "I don't want to rest. I'm 18 years old. I can play every game." So I ended up playing like 32 games out of 52, and I was in World Juniors for a month and a half. So I basically played every game I was available. So I think he was my favorite coach because of that. But then I played for Cam Abbott in he's in Chicago Wolves right now as a head coach. I played for him in Rögle for 2 years, and he's a great coach. Like so good. He's really hard on the players. Like he could be very he's speaking the truth all the time. He's not talking around stuff, and he was really good too. I really enjoyed working with him.
Awesome. Awesome. And it sounds like the first coach you were mentioning that he gave you a reputation to live up to, so to speak, by saying the only way we're going to, remain here or move up is by your performance. Right. So he
Yeah,
was sounds like it was very, very positive. And how I always talk to you, we talk about how, you walk into the picture, you hold of yourself. Well, he was giving you a great picture to walk into.
yeah. He both that, and he also gave me the trust to feeling like, okay, I know that everything depends on not everything, but a big part of us gonna stay in the league is gonna be because of my play, and that really gave me a big confidence. And even though we weren't winning many games, I think we ended up winning like 12 games or 15 games out of 52. I really felt confident going into the relegation series, and we ended up winning in game 5 in double overtime. And yeah, it was a really cool story, but I think that faith and the trust I got from the coach early on was huge for me.
Yeah. Yeah. Big time. Big time. Okay. And if you could give one piece of, excuse me, if you could give one piece of advice to the goaltenders listening here, what's the one piece of advice you would give them?
Trusting yourself, believe. I think that's huge since you and me started working together too. Just being able to believe, believe that you can do it. Like there's nobody's gonna tell you that you can't do anything, and I think that really has got stuck in my head since even before we started working, but especially after you and me started working. Like I could do whatever I tell myself I can do, and if that's you want to play in the NHL, you want to win a Vezina Trophy or a Stanley Cup, or you want to play in Europe, top league in Europe, whatever you want to do, you can do it. It's just a matter of how much you have to put in the work hours, and it's just being able to trust yourself.
Got it. Okay. Great answer. Great answer. And also, what is one thing that your mom and dad did for you or said that really helped you in your goalie career, that say if there's any goalie parents listening, they could maybe learn from that and apply that as well? What was there anything special that your mom or dad did that made a big impact on you, and that, if other goalie parents did it, it would make a big impact on their goaltender?
I think they did many really good things for me and my brothers and sisters. But one big thing that they would always do with me is they would ask me if I still wanted to play hockey, if I still loved to play hockey, and if I really enjoyed doing it. And they said if you don't enjoy doing anything, like you should not do it. But the one rule they had, if you start something, you finish. So they would ask me before the
Mm,
season, like, hey, do you still love playing hockey? Do you still want to be a goalie? And if I said yes, and then I kind of signed up for playing that season, and there wasn't anything coming in halfway through and like, okay, mom, I don't want to play anymore. It's just if you sign up for something, you finish it. And it was the same thing for everything we did. I played soccer when I was growing up, and every time summer would end and we would start playing hockey again, and I would be like, okay, can I skip the soccer practice to go and do the hockey practice? And they'd be like, no, you sign up for soccer, you play soccer the whole way. So I think those two things were really huge for me.
yeah. And at what age did you stop playing multiple sports and just stick to hockey or goaltending?
I think it was the summer after I turned 12 years old. So it was
Mm.
pretty early on. I don't know about North America, but in Sweden, there's when we were young, we would play, many different sports for a long time. But I decided when I was 12 that I wanted to just play hockey. So yeah, after that summer, I only stuck with hockey.
Did you ever play? It's called like inner bandy or inner bandy.
Yeah,
You know what I'm?
yeah. I think it's called floorball in English.
Or floor hockey, maybe.
Yeah, yeah. I played that
Yeah.
when I was younger.
Okay, because that's pretty popular there, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a big sport. It's probably
Yeah.
one of the top five biggest.
Yeah. Yeah. Got another question here, and that is, what has been the mentally toughest period of your career, and how did you work yourself out of it? Another great question.
I think I'm kind of in that moment right now where at least I've been since I moved to North America, and I think my first year was probably the toughest because of all the circumstances, being so far away from my family, being in another country which I've never been before, you know, not having my girlfriend there and my family and all the new stuff, playing, going from 52 games to 72 games, and the travel in the American League and everything like that was a big difference and a big challenge for me. But also this year's kind of been really challenging for me as well because of the expectations I had on myself and the organization that I had had on me before season started, and then kind of starting off a little slow, and then obviously got my injury and had to stay out of games for a good 9 weeks. So I think those 2 years it's been very challenging, but I also feel like I've learned like so much, like really had to grow up as a man, being able to kind of take care of myself in a different way. Maybe not as the same thing I did when I was 15 and I moved to my parents, because then it would be how to cook, how to clean, how to get in bed in time. But now it's been more of like how do I treat my body in the best way? How do I create my habits that's gonna make me perform every day and all those things. So I really learned a lot in these 2 years, and I feel like I'm on the other side of it now. Kind of, I feel like I'm a much better person and a much better goalie over these last 2 years.
Got it. Okay. Okay. The other question, Jeff Glass. What do you love about Jeff Glass as a goalie coach?
I mean, there's so many things. He's as I said about Simon, he's very detailed as well. He loves talking hockey, talking goalie. Watching videos of other goalies, and we talk so much outside of the rink as well. We text each other when we see something on NHL later at the night or anything like that. And he's really good about details as well, and he's really good at explaining stuff because obviously he played in the NHL and in the KHL and on the really top level, and he has a lot of experience, and he's really good at sharing that. Like talking from his eyes, kind of thing. Like, this is how I did it. This is how I see things, and this is how I treated things. And I think that's really been really good for me, being able to work with such an experienced guy and such a nice guy as well. And I really enjoyed working with him these last 2 years.
Awesome. Awesome. And then what do you love? I know you've worked a little bit with Sudsy too in Anaheim. What do you love about him?
Such is he's a great goalie coach. He knows so much about hockey, and he's really good at the technique stuff, like how to look through a screen, how to find the puck, how to track things, and all those small little things. He's really good at, and he's also good at explaining stuff for me. He talks Swedish too, so that helps a lot. We can
Oh
talk
yeah,
some
because he played
Swedish,
in
and
Sweden for a few years, right?
yeah, he did, and his Swedish is just as good as your Swedish is, so it's really
I'm
good.
sure it's way better than my Swedish. You're pumping my tires here.
Yeah, no, but he's great, and he's even a better person. Everything he went through with everything like that. So I enjoyed working with both guys.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Okay, so I'm gonna wrap it up here. But I guess before we go, I know I already asked you for any other advice. So if you guys have any other questions, we do have a few more questions here. I was going to wrap it up. We got some more questions. Okay, so let's see here. We got, do you still play any other sports during the summer? And if so, does it help you as a goalie?
Yeah, I do. I do play tennis. I actually played tennis this morning with a buddy of mine, and I don't play golf, so I stick with tennis during the summers.
That's a good one, hey?
Yeah, it's really good. I think it's good for a lot of reasons. It's the tracking, the hand-eye
Tracking all
coordination.
the way to the racket.
Yeah, exactly. And the fast feet, conditioning. It's really hard, and it's also good for the mental side of it. Stuff you don't think about, but once you start competing, and me and my buddy we played for, couple of bucks, and it
Oh,
comes
good.
down
You
to a lot
bet on
of.
yourself.
Yeah, I did. Today I didn't come up with the win, but most of the time I do. But it's really good, and I think it has a lot of similarities to being a goaltender, because you're there by yourself. You don't have any kind of teammate. You have teammates in hockey, but as a goalie, you feel kind of lonely being back there. And it's the same thing in tennis. Like after you make a great shot, you're back there, having a clap on your shoulder. And if you make a bad shot, and then same thing as not if you don't come up with a save in as a hockey goalie, it's kind of the same thing. You're back there lonely, and you have to deal with all those questions in your own head. So I think it's great in a lot of ways, and it's really fun too. I really enjoy playing.
Yeah, that's great. Plus, you can track it off the other racket as well too, right? Like see
Yeah.
it leave. Notice the angle of the racket, all that key stuff there. Yeah, awesome, awesome. Got another question came in just from Eric. Eric's one of my clients as well too. Eric, you're basically a pro now, anyways. Eric played in the Q last year. What does a day in the life look like training as a pro goalie? That's why I said, Eric, you're basically a pro right now playing in the Q. But what does a day in the life look like training as a pro goalie?
So like practice day, I would usually go up at 6:30 in the morning. I would do my meditation and visualization before I head to the rink, and then at the rink it would be starting off with the cold tub, hot tub, cold tub in the morning, and then there would be some breakfast. You would have a workout, meetings, maybe go through some video with the goalie coach from the game before. So it would be good like 2.5, 3 hours before you actually hit the ice, and then it would be 15 to 30 minutes goalie practice, and then a regular team practice depending on game schedule. Everything from 30 minutes to hour and a half team practice, and then stick around for some extra reps, and then you'll be basically be kind of done with the team activity for the day around, I would say, 11:30 a.m. to noon, and then having lunch at the rink and taking care of your body. It would be cold tubs after practice again, maybe some kind of treatment, massage, cool down, and then I would head home and have a nap in the afternoon, and then I would do my other habits, just visual edge, reaction lights, goalie confidence journal, all those kind of things. And that would kind of be a normal day in a pro goalie's life.
Got it. Okay, great answer. We got another question here. What's your favorite pregame meal? That's a good question too. What's your favorite
Yeah,
pregame
that's.
meal, Kelly?
I mean, I'm kind of switching back and forth from chicken and rice with some Alfredo sauce, or I would do spaghetti and meat sauce. That would be one of those two things. Depending if we're winning or losing, I would switch it up sometimes, but it would be one of those two things.
Either way, sounds like you're having carbs.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
You're having carbs. You're having carbs. Okay, fantastic. Anything else you'd like to share with the viewers, with the goaltenders that are watching
No, I
or
hope
listening?
hope
This
it
is going to
was.
go up to our podcast, right? So they'll be listening to this too.
Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the last 50 minutes here. Take some advice, and yeah, I think if there's anything else I would advise to you guys about, would be having fun, because ultimately that's why you play. And I think that's sometimes you forget about it when, especially in the pro hockey, you're just winning or losing, and your road trips and everything. Just kind of you're in a blender, but sometimes you just get to remind yourself like why you play, and it's because you think it's most fun thing to do in the world, and just enjoy the time because it goes by fast. Last time I checked, I was 18. Now I'm almost 23, so it goes by quick. So enjoy it and yeah, have fun with it.
Yep. Goes by quick, and you are just getting started, my friend.
I am.
Yes. So, guys, look for super bright things from Calle in the future in this year, upcoming year here. And Calle, I guess I'll see you on Zoom on Wednesday as we start to prep for next season.
Yeah,
On
let's do it.
our off-season edge here. Okay, guys, this is Pete Fry, the Goalie Mindset Guy. This has been the Goalie Mindset Podcast. Honored to have on special guest and actually one of my clients, the great Calle Clang with the Anaheim Ducks organization. Signing off. Calle, thanks for coming on, my friend. You are powerful.
Thanks for having me.
Just gonna see if I can end the stream here. I think I'm